can tell you historically, like for instance, Nisargadatta made the distinction that consciousness is self-aware. And it's true for sure. When I talk about unbound consciousness, it's not just that there's self-awareness. It's like nothing but self-awareness. That's why some people call it a sense of I am, or I am everything, or just I, because it feels like this central experience of being you, the experiencer, and yet all experience becomes undifferentiated when you're fully immersed in that. And that you could call self-awareness. Because the fact that you're aware is sort of the most obvious thing there is, right? So he would say that's consciousness. And he would say awareness means there's still something aware. There's not something aware. There's still awareness, but there's no self-consciousness. And the example he used was deep sleep. Okay. So in deep sleep, there can be awareness. The reason I want to make that distinction, though, is that anyone who's had the experience that I've talked to who had the experience of awareness in deep sleep, not dream sleep, but deep sleep, they will invariably, for the people I've heard talk about it or ask them specifically, including myself, will tell you that the reason you even know you're aware is because you're aware of sound, or you're aware of something in the room, like the sensory perception. And that's actually really important. And I think it's a very good distinction to answer this question. I could make a distinction that says some contemporary Neo-Advaita sort of speakers and stuff would say that formless awareness is the ground of being. It's the basis, or it's the most, I don't know how you'd say it. It's the one indivisible truth, or something like that. Some people say that very deliberately, like outright, say just what I said. Others speak in that way, but may never say it quite like that. To me, that is a stage of realization, but it's not truly non-dual realization. Because when I talk about non-dual realization, I mean something very specific. And when specifically formless non-dual realization is clear, it's very obvious that there's no space in which things occur. There's no aware substance or substanceless substance apart from the vivid experience of sound, the vivid experience of color and form, the vivid experience of sensation. There's nowhere for it to be. There's the five senses and consciousness. There's no other anything. There's no space in which it's all floating. Another way of saying it is the way Adyashanti says it, and he says it pretty frequently, or I've heard him say it several times, and that is what a lot of people call non-duality is not non-duality. It's a very stark duality. It's awareness, and then everything awareness is aware of. And he's also said it's a manageable duality, right? It's better than maybe the mind-identified multiplicity of duality or whatever, but it is a duality, and it can be overlooked for sure. What's interesting is there are people like in forums online that will argue about this kind of stuff. And this is one of the things that people who experience it this way and are sure it's this way will defend like endlessly. They get really, really dug in about this. And I don't really know why, other than it's just very convincing. It's very convincing to you when you're experiencing it, that what could there be? It's like if you take the neti approach, it's like there's not this, there's not that, there's not this. You come to this place where there's nothing. There's like nothingness. But they're reifying nothingness. They're reifying awareness. Non-dual is, in one sense, a step beyond that. But if your mind, and it is definitely a mind state that's telling you this, is telling you that, well, you can't go farther than nothing. Well, that's the problem, is you're looking from a paradigm of something and nothing. Non-dual isn't in that realm of paradigms at all. It just is. It's just obvious when it's obvious. And it can feel like you're collapsing into the environment rather than disappearing out of it. That's one way of saying it. Or it's just overtaking you. There's not someone listening to sound anymore. There's just sound. There's not someone feeling sensations anymore. There's just sensations. And the whole environment is sort of an array of that. It's an array of these non-dualistic experiences. And then there's nowhere to hide. There's nowhere for anything to be. There's no things. The things are deconstructed. There's no perceptual distance. This is, again, where language really falls apart, because language is not designed to speak about something that doesn't exist in space or time. But the illusions of time and space are completely obliterated with formless, non-dual realization. And so there's no awareness apart. Can't say there's no awareness, but the awareness is the sound. The sound is the awareness. The awareness of the sound and the sound are not separable. That's true non-duality.